I want to thank the chairman for bringing this simple little bill, H.R. 4604, that provides security and control of personal information held by CFPB for all consumers. We all know that the CFPB is collecting personally identifiable information. On April the 16th, the CFPB, in conjunction with the Federal Housing Finance Agency, released a notice in the Federal Register expanding the type of data collected for the National Mortgage Database. Data collection will now include Social Security numbers, financial account numbers, home address, and GPS location of your primary residence, and your name and the ages of your children. At the July 2013 hearing, I asked Deputy Director Antonkis how many employees at the CFPB have access to the data CFPB collects. After much delay, the CFPB responded that a minimum 830 CFPB employees and contractors have access to the personal financial data. And we've already seen what one person at our security agency has caused with that data breach. Finally, I asked the CFPB employees who access personal financial data, do they have a security clearance? The answer is no. My bill, the CFPB Data Collection Security Act, is a direct result of CFPB's actions and answers to my questions. The CFPB Data Collection Security Act has 5 main provisions. First, the bill allows any individual to opt out of all CFPB data collection. CFPB would have to provide an opportunity for individuals to opt out of data collection and would not be allowed to collect information pertaining to that individual at any time in the future. Second, H.R. 4604 requires CFPB to purge data from their system after a certain period of time. For records regarding a consumer complaint, those records would be purged after completion of the CFPB review. For data collected during an examination, CFPB would have to remove data after 3 examinations. For any other information, the CFPB would have to remove the data after 60 days. Third, the CFPB Data Collection Security Act would require the CFPB to provide consumers with 1 year of free credit monitoring following a data breach. CFPB would also have to provide public notice on its website of the data breach. We all know what the devastating effect of the Target data breach has had to consumers, and they did the right thing and at their own expense provided free credit monitoring. We feel this good government's provision should be applied to the CFPB as well, especially since it is my belief that CFPB systems still remain vulnerable to outside attacks. Fourth, CFPB would not be allowed to collect data without a Senate-confirmed director. I will have a manager's amendment later that will clarify this provision so CFPB would be able to continue their ongoing supervisory duties. Finally, H.R. 4604 would require any CFPB employee handling personally identifiable information to obtain a confidential security clearance. A confidential security clearance is the least level of a government clearance. Mr. Chairman, these are common sense reforms that allow individuals to have control over the data the government collects on them in the name of consumer protection. Since the CFPB is not accountable to Congress or the President, it is my firm belief CFPB must be accountable to the consumers, the same consumers that they are charged with protecting. Let us give consumers more control over the data the government collects on them, and I urge my colleagues to vote yes on H.R. 4604, and Mr. Chairman, I yield back.